Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello and welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. And although it's the international break, we thought we'd have some Rotherham chat because there is plenty to talk about, to be fair. We may squeeze some England chat in as well, bearing in mind, it's the international break. We have Mick and Danny with us. Hello, for joining us, boys.
Hello.
Hello.
And before we get started, Ernest, let's have a little message from our sponsor, with Manscaped.
This video is sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped are the best at below-the-waist grooming. Over 4 million lads and lasses use Manscaped worldwide, including yours truly. Now, Manscaped have given me an early look-see at their latest trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, and I tell you what, it is some quality stuff. They've also given me a look-see at the ball deodorant and the ball toner, which you use for your... Use code NYT for 20% off and free shipping at the checkout when you visit manscaped.com. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programme.
There you go. Thank you, Danny, for those nice words.
Oh, dear. Well done, Danny.
Thank you.
I see you decided not to use my advert then.
Yeah. As always, we are recording live, so if you are watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, I think we're on Twitter as well, I'm not sure. Feel free to comment. Harvey Kellick's with us. Evening, guys. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe because we're sneaking up to 400 subscribers and we would like to get there soon. If you are listening on iTunes, Spotify, make sure you've already subscribed or followed, and 5-star rating if you can. If you haven't already, I'm sure most of you have already. Right, now that's all out of the way. Let's talk about some football. Well, let's talk about some draws about football. Let's go back a week. 7 days ago, well, 6 days ago now, the FA Cup draw happened Monday evening. You've probably seen our reactions on YouTube for our short we put through. But Mick, I think I said it on the podcast, not Stockport or Bolton.
Yeah.
Look what came out.
Yeah, well. Yeah, it's not the best draw, is it? It's not the best draw in the world. It is at home. I suppose that is one bonus to it. But yeah, it would have been nice to get another non-league club, just to try and get a little bit more.
League.
Well, yeah, they are, but they're spending money like a League One club, aren't they? So I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not really bothered about FA Cup, Pizza Cup, League Cup, any cup. I'm not bothered about them, to be honest. It's just a bit of extra income in it.
Yeah, I suppose. Danny, what are your thoughts on the draw?
My thought is, how many home games are we going to get this season? I mean, we've had a season out and not going to football at all, and then every single cup game, bar one, has been at home. So could be a blessing in disguise, I'm not sure. But out of the two, I'd take Stockport because it's a different team. Makes it a bit more interesting. But yeah, I think your comment at the end of the show summed it up, Matt. Just it's like, yeah, basically. I mean, it's not one of the lower. It's not like one of the lower league teams that we'd probably never have a chance of playing again. I mean, we could end up playing Stockport. Maybe next season if we stay in League One and they come up in the Pizza Cup. I'm not sure, but anyway, at least I just hope it's not Bolton because we've played them and we've already beaten once. It's not fun if you do it again within a space of a year, do you?
No, that's true. And we'll have, I say we've got them again soon in the new year. 1st of January, we'll have them as well. So, yeah, three times in a few months. That's not what you want. That's it. Their replay is on, I think, Wednesday. We're potentially talking about doing a watch-along for that just so we can talk Rotherham for a couple of hours whilst watching a game of football. So keep an eye on the socials. That'll be across all our social channels if we end up doing that. It won't be the first idea we've said we were going to do and then didn't follow through with it. We are good at that, to be fair. Yeah, that's 7 days ago. It feels like a long time ago. It is a long time ago. The next draw is that is less important, Danny, but it still happened. We're still in it. Port Vale at home in the Papa John's Trophy. This will be the week commencing the 29th, so it will be the Tuesday or Wednesday before the Stockport or Bolton game. Thoughts, Danny? It's different. Even if at Wigan, they wouldn't play the first two, so it doesn't really matter who you get, really. It's a bit of a lottery on the day, I think. Yeah,
I think it is a chance to see two former Millers players as well return to the New York Stadium. So that might be a nice reception for him. It's another one at home from our top of the table finish. But yeah, I think again, it's just a different team, isn't it? It's another team. It makes it a little bit more interesting, but because it's the Peter Cup, not many fans will go, unfortunately. But it's a chance to progress further in the competition or to bow out to a lower league club and go, right, let's concentrate on the league a bit more.
Yeah. Mick, to get CJ Proctor on a David Worrell is a former Miller, but that didn't go particularly well. Be nice to see Jamie Proctor back and give him a decent reception.
Yeah, absolutely. From the 300 or 400 that are there, probably. That's the issue, isn't it? People aren't interested. People don't care for the tournament. It's because of what's been done to it, bringing in all these under 21 sides. It's really just lost all its integrity, really, for the vast majority of supporters. Clearly, if you end up getting to a final and getting to Wembley, then that puts a different spin on it. But it's all the nonsense that's had to go on before that people just aren't bothered about. That people don't like it. It feels a bit underhand, doesn't it? Hijacking a lower league tournament for me. Whatever. Don't care.
Yeah,
I care less about Pizza Trophy than FA Cup.
You'll still probably go.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'll probably be a hypocrite and go, yeah. So that's our cup exploits. The games will happen within a week of each other. So then we'll have another. It won't be an international break, obviously, but it will be a league break, around 2 week league break, which we'll welcome because again we can rest. It's expected to rest players, which will be very good for our league campaign. We're not having to sort of force everybody in. That's 7 minutes in. Covered all the cup draws. Very efficient work. I like it. Well done.
Right. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.
Adak is getting excited. This is our time. 4th round is our goal. Yeah, that'll be very good. Very, very good.
Which one? That's the question.
Well, exactly. Yeah. True. You've got a lot of other FA Cup midweek games this week coming up. Piggies are still in. Wigan. They're all plenty of teams still playing this week. Well,
Wickham are still playing from last round, aren't they?
They might be, to be fair. They lost at weekend, didn't they? Let's talk about some of League One results from the weekend. Wickham losing at home to Portsmouth. Now, bearing in mind, Mick, how bad Portsmouth were when we played them. They are a bad away team, but they've managed to do Wickham. Not on the greatest run of form, Wickham. I wonder if their bubbles burst a little bit.
Well, what bubble? Is the question I would ask, because in my view, I don't think Wickham have got a bubble. I don't think they're any good. I don't think they have much quality, if any quality, about them, which is exactly the reason why they play the way that they play. They're just trying to grind teams into dust. And they're very, very, very good at it, which is why they end up in the league position that they're in. But in terms of quality, I'm not in the least little bit surprised they've lost to Portsmouth, and I suspect they'll lose to some other quality sides as well, sides who are able to deal with that. I'm trying to think of a polite way of putting it. That method of playing football that they employ.
Well, if you include all their games, which it does include pizza trophies, they have only won 1 of their last 6, and that was against Crewe. And Crewe are bad. I know we didn't beat Crewe, but we should have done. That's their only win in the last 6 games, which is a concern for them. And that's a defeat at home. They went up on their home form last time. We went up on away form. They went up on their home form last time. So I hope they drop off a bit. It remains to be seen. It's relatively early days. But yeah. The Piggies drew Sheffield Wednesday drew against Gillingham. Did you see the uproar on Twitter, Danny, from the Wednesday fans playing Gillingham? Didn't it just make you Saturday night?
It did. I saw this one comment about how Lewis Wingen made the step up to Sheffield Wednesday, and I had to quickly look at the league table just to see if he was taking the mickey out of it. But then you saw Steve Evans' comments about supposedly being offered the Sheff Wednesday job, and his reply was once a Miller, always a Miller, which certainly brought a chuckle out of me. I mean, it was just a good evening for wind-ups, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And bless him, the Wednesday fan who made the step up Lewis Wing comment suitably got rinsed by the Rotherham fans, and then made the comment of all his replies are Rotherham fans, and it's like, yeah, because you're saying he stepped up when he's more just hopped to the side potentially. But yeah, it were a fun evening. We'll leave it there. It was a fun evening.
Yeah, it was. I thought at first I saw that tweet. I thought at first he was trying to look for bikes, and then I saw him defending what he'd said to somebody else. I'm like, maybe he's not looking for him. Maybe he's just an idiot. And it turns out he's just an idiot.
Watching this, hello,
mate. As we know, we get fans watching this for some reason. So
we seem to get more mentions in their tweets after they played Gillingham and we didn't actually even play than most of their players did. There were more comments about Rotherham United than there were about all else. It was like it was bizarre, really bizarre.
They were really upset that Gillingham wasted time. Now I know we've talked about Wycombe wasting time. The reason I had such a problem with Wycombe is because it were 0-0 and they were trying to waste time. Wycombe were winning. Gillingham, were winning and they were trying to waste time to win the game. I don't know what you expect from a football team. If you win the game and you're a team like Gillingham, with all the respect in the world to Gillingham, they have a very limited budget and they have got Steve Evans in charge of them. You know what you're going to get. If you let them get ahead of you, they're going to make it a very, very long, hard afternoon for you. And that's why I expect from Gillingham a few weeks' time, if we let them get ahead of us, it's going to be a tough afternoon, mate. But that's football. That's League One. You can't just expect teams to lay down in front of you and just point towards the goal.
Well, it depends how big a club you are, doesn't it?
True.
You know, I mean, if you're a massive, humongous club, then you know you have every right to expect teams just to roll over. You know, we had this with Sunderland a couple of weeks ago. They still can't understand why we didn't roll over and let them win. You know, Portsmouth, the same. I'm sure Ipswich will be thinking exactly the same when we go down there on a Tuesday night and have to go through COVID prison to get there. You know, it's like they'll be expecting us to go down there and roll over because they're massive. That in all seriousness, I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but that does seem to be an attitude that comes out of a lot of these clubs, or the fan base of a lot of these clubs, that they expect. I don't know. I don't know what they expect, actually. I don't know. It's just bizarre, isn't it? Weird.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is.
But we don't understand it because we've never supported a massive club.
Although I did see this tweet earlier, it was a Wycombe fan who would reply to the Gills in the Blood who do the Gillingham podcast. He tweeted something out about the arrogance of the Wednesday fans. And a Wycombe fan replied saying these teams like Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich and Rotherham all expect to walk the league. What?
Oh, look at us.
Are we a big club now?
Oh, we need to think about rebranded podcast to the Massive podcast then.
Yes,
the New York Massive.
Bring your egos in, lads. Bring your egos in. I want to fit through the door later.
So apparently, I mean, that's because we didn't like the way they played, obviously, because they're still bitter about the way we reacted to the way they played. But anyway, we'll play them again soon enough. But that's just a point to make. Point worth making is Gillingham. That's how they're going to play against us, and we know that the Steve Evans team. We know what the Steve Evans team does. So I don't know. It's in a month or so's time. It's in December, the 7th, less than a month's time on a Tuesday night. So get ready.
Steve Evans mind games, isn't it? You know, and to be fair, it weren't even subtle, that were it?
No,
it weren't a subtle sort of. Let me see if I can get sort of in through back door kind of mind game. It were a custard pie one, and they still fell for it.
Yeah, it was as subtle as a kick in the teeth once.
Yeah.
Me and Mick have talked about this, but Danny, there's absolutely no way anything what he said's true, is there?
I mean, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but he went to Leeds, and where Leeds are now, you would look back on it and think, really? So I don't know. Chef Wednesday aren't a million miles away, so there could have been an offer, and he could have turned it down, or it could be just complete nonsense. But I reckon the mind games will play. We will go, oh yeah, I nearly accepted that Chef Wednesday job, because it's a far more lucrative thing than Little Rotherham. You can just see it coming, can't you? But we're in the fortunate position that when we do play Gillingham, we used to be a Steve Evans side, so we can just go, right, off you go then.
Yeah.
Maybe Steve Evans and Milan Mandrich. I mean, Mandrich were never straightest bloke in the world. Maybe they just had the same accountant or something.
Could be.
Who knows?
Oh, absolutely possible. Other than that, the bigger teams did win at the weekend. MK Dons thrashed our next opponents, Cambridge, 4-1, which again is good news. And the one from Cambridge came when Dons were 4-0 up. So it was, a tough afternoon for them. Charlton, who have returned into a very good run of form, won again, despite Trevor Kettle sending one of their players off. So if he's doing League One games, Mickey's coming soon.
God,
it's coming.
Give me strength.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'll do with myself.
I reckon we should all bring them old whistling kettles to the ground and just throw them at him.
I shouted at him during warm up last time he refereed our game. I shouted at him while they were warming up, and that didn't go down well either. We lost. Obviously didn't shout loud enough.
No. And this brings on to our next topic. Is Plymouth Argyle, following their Manager of the Month award for Ryan Lowe, they thrashed Accrington 4-1 at Accrington Stanley. I know Accrington have not been having an amazing season, but that's a big result. That 4-1 away at that place is a very good result. So let's talk about the Manager of the Month award. Danny, I suppose it doesn't matter. So you're not going to find us getting on as high horses, raging and things like that. But it is a little bit daft that Warney didn't get the award. He won it on every category, other than the fact that they played a game more.
Yeah, and I think the AFL just looked at it of how many points they've won rather than effectiveness in front of goal, defensive rate, clean sheets, etc., etc. But the way I look at it is that whenever you get nominated for Manager of the Month, it's great, and it shows that your hard work is being recognised. But it seems to come with a weird curse that whenever we seem to win Manager of the Month, we then have a flump in form. So keep it away from it. Let Plymouth have it. Let them go and mess it up a little bit. But I said this on the Cambridge podcast that we're coming out this week. We are the only team to have beaten Plymouth, and they've gone on an insane run of form since then. And at the minute, there are only 3 teams in the top 4 tiers of English football that are on an unbeaten run, and it's Plymouth, Exeter, and us. And it's like, well, we've beaten one of them and other ones in League 2, so we're doing something right. But yeah, fair play on Ryan Lowe, winning Manager of the Month. Might have been that extra game that's just nudged it for him.
I dare Paul Ward not play an extra game. I can't believe he's let himself down.
How dare 3 of our players be called up to be international players? How dare they?
It is a bit madness. On Plymouth, I'm sure this is going to come to bite me on the arse in 30 games' time. There is a lot of the Shrewsburys and the Leyton Orient about them. So much of them. They look amazing. They look so good. But how often do teams that are top in December end up winning the league? In League One, it's a funny old league. The staying power for those teams up there is quite rare.
Now, they were looking at the beginning of the season. I think we did a podcast with them, didn't we? We had somebody on the podcast from Plymouth, and they were looking at a season of consolidation and basically just trying to stay in the league and finish mid-table. And obviously they set off like a train. But I'm with you, Matt. Absolutely, 100%. You look at the top of that table. It goes Plymouth, Wigan, Rotherham. It may come to bite me on the backside as well towards back end of the season. I just can't see them maintaining it. I can't. I suspect they're going to be playoff contenders, very much so. But I don't think they're going to be challenging for the top 2 come May. They may still be doing in March, maybe even beginning of April, but I suspect they will fall away. Just because of what you've just said there, it just seems to be virtually every year we're in this division. You know, there's one team that sort of comes out of nowhere, but then that ultimately falls away towards the back end. I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I can't see Wigan doing that. And I'll be honest, I can't see us doing that either.
No. I look at the last few years. Wycombe were the last team 2 years ago. They almost fell away. Peterborough, in particular, would argue that COVID let them off. That's an argument. You got your Shrewsbury's. A couple of years ago, Portsmouth and Sunderland on 1st of December were first and second. They didn't go up. You can go back. It's just one of those things. It's a strange thing that happens in this league. So let's see what happens. Yeah, hats off to them. Like Alex says, all you've got to do is, with Plymouth issue, is take that after them.
Absolutely.
I hope it doesn't last for Plymouth. I hope it doesn't last. But it may well do. I do rate like Ryan Lowe as a manager. I think he is a very good manager. They've got a bright future.
But listen, ultimately, if so long as Wigan or somebody else drops off, it can last. I'm not bothered. You know what I mean? I just don't. It'd be nice just to be fighting between 2 of us rather than 4. And I'm being really presumptive there, or presumptuous that we're going to be there. But everything that we've seen so far this season points to the fact that we are, and nothing that we've seen points away from that fact. We're early doors. So we shouldn't really be making any sorts of predictions. But you have got to take your hat off to them. They've done really well.
I think it comes down to how much of, to use an analogy, how much of your candle do you burn within the first half of the season, how much is left in the second half. I mean, for all we know, in the future, we could see that Wigan and Plymouth burnt their candle out by March, but Rotherham's candle is just a slow burn out. Like, I know we've said that we'd thrash a team, and we have just started doing that, but it's a very slow burn. We've not just jumped out at starting gates and got going. We're just slowly making our way up the table and slowly burning away and just concentrating on what we're doing. And that's the sort of thing that you see from the top teams. They don't just go out, go stop at league straight away, because then they drop off slowly. It's the teams that just slowly build and build and build. And I honestly can see us doing that. There's some sort of ideology with us where it's just a slow burner. Just concentrate on what you're doing, slow burn it. Don't go into a full fire straight away, just slowly burn it. And then when it comes down to the tough games, you've got more initiative to go out and win them rather than just going, oh, well, that could be the end of our run.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It's a long old slog, but like I said, it's about where you are on 1st of May to 7th of May, whenever the season ends, rather than where you are now. So let's move on to the Player of the Month award. We got this one. Michael Smith won Player of the Month. Can't argue it, Danny. He's the best striker in the league at the minute. It's all you could say, really.
Yeah, 100%. And you could say it's a little bit of the curse that he's won that, and his first game back in November is suspended. But anyway, yeah, he's deserved it. He's top scorer with 12, just pipping Cole Stockton by 1. And yeah, he's having the season of his life. He only needs to score another 6 in 30 games to match his all-time record at one club. So it's going to happen, innit? Unless Smith somehow disappears for the rest of the season, I think he'll break his record and have his best ever season. And the best thing is, if it's in our promotion season, he'll probably stay and try and do it in the Championship.
Yeah. No, even if he goes back to the Michael Smith of 2 years ago, he's got 6 goals in between now and the end of the season. You know what I mean? We don't expect him to keep getting 12 goals in 14 games. That's unrealistic. It's time for somebody else to step up as well. But he can go back to his normal. I don't want him to, but he can go back to the old Michael Smith, Mick. And we will still be a very, very, very strong team.
Yeah, we would. But he's doing what everybody else in that squad is doing, and he's developing as a player. And this is the key part of it. It's not just about Michael Smith ultimately. It's about the players that are around him, all of whom are getting better and better as time goes on. And they are getting better and better because of the management team that are also developing and getting better and better as time goes on. And this is one of the things that, we've talked about this before with Michael Smith and everybody else virtually, Paul Warne as well. He has a couple of bad games and he's crap. He should be back on bench at Bury. And, and we look at things in isolation as though that is the player that Michael Smith is going to be. He's never, ever going to improve. He's never, ever going to get any better than that player that we've got. But that's not the case. And Michael Smith has proved that throughout his career with us, hasn't he? He's come, and when he came, he was pretty ineffective, and you could probably see why he didn't do that well at Bury and why he was on the bench and why he got the criticism he got. But since he did arrive, he's just got better and better and better and better. I don't know. It's about, it's great. Love it. And he fully deserved. Top lad. He's got more to give.
Yeah, he has. Like Danny says, he's one player a month. He now won't be playing for most of November. He won't play on Saturday. Injury permitting, that means he'll have 2 league games this month, which is Ipswich and Oxford. I mean, they are pretty big games, to be fair, Ipswich and Oxford. But at the same time, it's only 2 games, which is a bit of a blow, but we're not playing that many anyway. So that's all the Rotherham United talk directed to the club. Is there anything else? Any news I've missed before we move on to still Rotherham United stuff, but international related?
There's the thing about how we've been in discussion with Huddersfield, and it looks like Reg is staying for the season.
Yeah.
So that's a positive.
That's very good news. It's one of the benefits of the parent club doing quite well. They're pushing in the playoff areas, so why would they ask for him back? Also on the Tilt side, Tilt's picked up another injury, shock horror. So it might be irrelevant that, or they've said he's injured, so we don't call back in January. Who knows?
A bit early for that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little bit.
I think they wait while Boxing Day before they pulled that trick.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's true. True. Let's move on to the internationals, the Rotherham-related internationals. I think I've already mentioned this. We're recording whilst Ogbeni is playing against Luxembourg for Ireland. So I'm not able to talk much about his performance in that game. What we can talk about is his performance against Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal, on Thursday night. Did you watch it, Mick?
I watched some of it. I didn't get all the game. I didn't catch all of it, but I got some of it. Yeah, I'm a bit worried.
Highly impressive guy, and he's so impressive. That guy.
I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it, and then I look on social media afterwards, and there's people commenting on Chio, and they're not Rotherham United supporters, and that worries me. Because they're commenting on him positively and saying how good he is and how effective he is and how quick he is, and I don't want his name out there. I'm sorry, Chio. I know that it's your career and I know it's your life and I know your future depends on it. But think about me. I'm a middle-aged bald man from Rotherham. You've got to think about me as well. Go on. Yeah. Brilliant. It's brilliant. Love him.
He made PSG's Danilo look like he was a League One defender, didn't he? It was just exceptional.
Yeah, it made him look no better than Aidan McGeady. I mean, I saw the tackle that he put in on Chio that got him booked, and it's like he's just fallen for the exact same thing that League One defenders have. And say he trains with the like of trying to stand up to Messi and Neymar, to say Chio's done him, it's like, oh, Chio's announcing himself in the international stage. I don't know how to feel about that. But in all seriousness, though, with Chio, it's amazing what he's doing for Ireland. He's really come along as a player, and he's got his international call up, and now he's just come on leaps and bounds. And I hope that when he said that he goes with his gut, I hope his gut's saying, stay at Rotherham, keep developing, keep him in the Championship, and then you can go to a bigger club. I hope that's the case.
Stay with us, Chio. Don't leave us.
Yes, please. You better stay with us and cement yourself as better than Tony Towner, please.
Yeah, I think he can do it. We've got a contract plus this year, haven't we? So yeah, I like that. I'm playing orange tonight. I'm a big fan of that kit they're wearing as well. Not that that's relevant, but I'm a fan of it.
It's
A good thing about
0-0, by the way.
currently at half time, so everybody's what was with us live. That's where we are. The good thing about the international break, Mick, is there aren't 3 games, which means Chio could be back with Rotherham United on Monday morning for a game on Saturday. He's not waiting until Wednesday night to come back to us. It's felt quite well for Chio in terms of the days of the games.
Yeah, it has, and I'm sure obviously I'll not be training Monday, but
No,
it's good. It's good that it reduces that possibility of injury, doesn't it, as well? Which is always an issue, particularly when they're playing 2 full 90 minutes. While they're away, they're not getting that rest that other players do get. So I suspect that possibly when Cambridge come a calling, Chio might be sat on the bench anyway, potentially. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, absolutely. It's good to get him back as early as possible and hopefully in one piece.
Yeah, nice. It's managed to get through half time against Luxembourg. Please don't get injured, Chio. The other one, JJ came on for Ireland under-21s against Italy for around half an hour or so. He will be again. They're playing Monday afternoon. At Republic of Ireland, I think pretty sure they're at home. I'll find out who they'll do in a minute. He didn't score. Republic of Ireland under 21s lost 2-0. Sorry, to Italy under 21. So not a good afternoon for them, unfortunately. And the other one to mention for us is the same night England played San Marino. What's his face? Go on. Shane Ferguson. Shane Ferguson played for Northern Ireland in a 1-0 win at Lithuania. He played around 70 minutes in a 1-0 victory in a game they should have won anyway. They are playing, I think it's Friday, so they're playing Monday night. So again, Ferguson will probably be back Tuesday or Wednesday. Anything to add on that one? I guess none of us watched that, bear in mind the game was on.
No. It's just good that he's getting game time as well, isn't it? And it's great. It's great for us. It's great for us as a club, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 100%.
It's great for me. I can swan around at work telling everybody we ain't got a game this weekend because it's international break, and all Piggy fans are wondering why we're not playing.
Maybe that's why Wickham think we're one of the big teams, because we actually get an international break in League.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. We're massive, mate. We're massive.
Yeah, let me just go and find my trumpet to toot it. Hang on.
Republic of Ireland under-21s are at home to Sweden on Tuesday, not Monday. So he'll be fairly late back, will JJ. Because he didn't start the Italy game. From what I've noticed, if they're under-21s, they've alternated his starting. So if he's not starting the first game, there's a good chance to start the second one. But he needs games for us. If playing but 9 minutes of both games for me, just getting some minutes on pitch, we would like that. Ian Bradley on the Luxembourg Ireland game. It's just they nearly shot themselves in the foot, Luxembourg, by giving the ball away. The second wayward pass from Martins goes to Chio, but his Everett's tipped over. If Chio could put the ball in the back of the net or have a 95%, 90% cross success rate, he would be nowhere near playing in a Rotherham United shirt.
It will happen though, that won't it? That will happen. Yeah. We've talked about Smithy and how Smithy's now become player at month and everything else. That will happen for Chio eventually.
I think going away and playing for a different manager, for different players in a different system is also that can't hurt him. That could only improve him as well.
Only at international level though, I think I tweeted out a couple of days ago. It's not the finished article yet. He needs at least another 10 seasons with us before he. He's ready to move on.
So what you're saying is that he might look good for Ireland, but it's rubbish for Rotherham.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I wouldn't want any scouts coming in for him because he's garbage.
Don't waste your time. If any scouts out there,
absolute waste of time.
Don't waste your time. There's nobody in our team is worthy getting to the championship. Any scouts out there? Yeah. None of them. Apart from
I'm sure they'll watch our podcast, trying to pick up some tips on which players to watch, won't they? So
you never know.
I have a horrible feeling that January is going to be like that scene from This Is England, where he's got the kid behind him, he's got the machete.
Yeah,
that is going to be our. He's going to be Paul Romeo agents lining up. He's like, I can see that happening. So if anyone at the club wants to invite us to be a fly on the wall on the last day of the January transfer window, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
We can do the fish and chip run. We promise we'll do the fish and chip run.
Yeah, we'll do chippy run, pizza run. We're on it.
And you put at Big Tree in Wickersley and get the quality stuff.
Absolutely. Danny, you made a trip on Friday. Friday down to Wembley.
I did.
5-0 up in the first half. The second half was a bit forgetful, but how was your Friday evening at Wembley? Sorry.
It was great. I mean, traveling down was nice and easy because we were there within the hour, and there were a fair few England fans on the train. Met up with my mate who does the media stuff at Exeter. He met us in London. Had a day out around Buckingham Palace. Said hello to Queen Liz. Went to the cenotaph as well. And then went to the fan zone, but it's not like a fan zone. It's more like a nightclub sort of thing. I got nightclub vibes from it. So that was good. Then the first half happened, which was great, winning 5-0. Second half were a bit of an England performance. We've got the 5. We've qualified. Don't matter really. I'll tell you what, the journey home was interesting. Very, very interesting. I've got PTSD thinking about this trip home. So game ends, right? Game ends. It's about 10:15, right? We're thinking, great, we'll get the 11:05 train from St Pancras. We've got plenty of time. But because this was my first trip to Wembley to watch England, I didn't know about the fan dispersal protocol that they've got, where they only let 500 at a time get into Wembley Tube Station. And bear in mind, we left at full time. That was a big mistake. So my mate and his uncle and his cousin, they were getting the train back to Reading, so they were all right. They could get the midnight train, but for us, the 11:05 train was the last resort to get back. Otherwise, it was like 3 hours in Leicester waiting for the first train, or we get the train to Donny and then somehow try and get back home. So we ended up trying to get down a side street, which was blocked off with like these great wacky metal doors. Don't know why. So then we end up skirting down the side of it must have been at least 5,000 people outside. We somehow skirted down the side of it. And then we got to like the front 100 people who were being held back. And there are blokes who look like lollipop ladies with a go and please stop signs. So we're there like greyhounds waiting to go out at gates. As soon as it goes to go, don't matter what age you are getting trampled by me and my mate because we are going for the tube. And we get there, get onto the platform, and there's a train there. It's waiting for us. So we get on it, and then it turns into a scene like you see in Japan where they've got sticks out beating into carriage and everything. I'm telling you, if I catch COVID, it's from that train. There were that many people in there. But they were all really pleasant. They were asking where we were from. We were saying we're from Sheffield because nobody down south knows where Rotherham is effectively.
No.
And down there, you don't want to say you're from Rotherham because they start giving you funny looks. So you say you're from Sheffield just to get by. Anyway, so like, oh, you might just make it or you might miss it and everything. And then we just as we get into St Pancras, they all start hitting buttons on the doors to open it, try and use a bit more time. So there's all this thumping about going on doors, they end up getting wrong sides, so we have to swap. So it's still hitting the doors. And then I've never moved that fast, and I've never seen my mate move that fast in our life. As soon as the doors were open, bang, we were off. Like Usain Bolt in 100-meter final. We get up the stairs, we get to the train, the ticket thing, the ticket gate doesn't scan my ticket because I think their gates are racist towards Northerners. So I get the ticket stand, we're bombing it down the platform, and of course the train's at the other end of the platform, right? It's not pulled all the way in because there's a different train. So we're running tickets in hand going, we've got stranded Northerners, hold the train. The language was a bit more colourful, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And we get onto the train with, I swear, like 15 seconds to spare. We get on the train, collapse on the heap in a heap on the floor, and it's just like, how have we managed that? So we're just on the floor, just gasping for air, and there's this bloke who just says to us, just goes, "You two all right? You seem a bit out of breath." Really, fella? So, I mean, if he's watching, Reece Callock will know about our exploits getting to Rochdale in pre-season. This has topped it. This is the biggest chance of getting home I've ever done, and somehow it's worked. So, and I'm still recovering now. I'm still beat from it because So yeah, if you go to London to watch an England game and it's an evening kickoff, leave at half time because England don't do out in the second half, and it's best just to get home.
I just don't bother going to watch England.
Yeah, just watch it on the telly.
Yeah. Why would you?
All right.
I know I'm in a minority. I know you two have been this season, but come on.
I mean, I regret it because that was one of the worst games I've ever seen. What I also said, we drove down and parked at Stannington, and the tube back to Stannington were completely dead.
Really?
There were nobody on it. There were literally about 6 people on it. So it was so much. I mean, parking and then getting the tube was difficult, but on the way back to get to the car was a dream. I mean, we had to roadworks down the M1 were ridiculous as well. We went to MK Dons week after, and it was same sort of thing. But yeah, I don't recommend England games to anybody because, well, qualifiers anyway. I imagine the Euros was different. But yeah, don't do it to yourselves, guys. I think we've covered just about everything.
I'm out of breath just talking about that travel back. Oh my God.
Have a minute, Danny.
Mick, anything else that we have not covered that we need to cover? I think we've touched about just about everything.
Yeah, I think so. Ian Bradley's obviously been trying to get on Twitter with us, I think, but he's recapped it pretty succinctly there. Recap: Pizza Cup is not very good and irrelevant. Wickham are being found out, and Wednesday fans bleating is fantastic. That pretty much sums up the podcast, to be honest with you, Ian. Yeah. And Danny can't run. We've found that's the other thing.
Hop Down hasn't been kind to me. Leave me alone.
Yeah, it's not kind of anybody, to be fair. Yeah, I think we'll probably leave it there. We've bit shorter than normal, but we wanted to get an episode in. Bearing we didn't do one on Thursday, Friday. So we will finish it up there. We will be back Thursday night. So the Thursday night, which will be live on YouTube and Twitter, Facebook, and then we'll be out on Friday morning as for the podcast. That will be a preview of the return to action in the league as Cambridge United come to New York Stadium. We will be having somebody on from Under the Abbey Stand to talk to us about Cambridge, about their recent run of form, which is not amazing, what to expect from them for the scouting report, and then we will preview the game as we always do. So yeah, thank you, Mick. Thank you, Danny. It's been a pleasure, mate.
I would say it just feels like it's been a long 6 months since we last played. You know, I hate it. I hate international breaks.
It feels worse because the game before was FA Cup. It didn't feel like a game, did it?
The thing is, for us, previously being in League One, international breaks have been a bit of a joke because we can laugh because they've not affected us. You know what I mean? And it's always been a downside of being in Championship. But the downside of having a decent squad and a successful squad is that even if you're in League One, you can't escape international breaks. Pointless international breaks. I know Ian.
Unless you're a Tin Pot Wednesday fan or something like that.
Well, yeah. Obviously, if you support a Tin Pot club, then that's different, isn't it? But we're a massive club, aren't we? But for me, like Ian Bradley talks about the Pizza Cup being irrelevant. For me, internationals are irrelevant. Even as a football fan of all these years, I'd say just irrelevant for me. Just a pointless waste of time.
I can't believe you find them irrelevant after the summer we all had. I can't.
Oh, that's all right. They're all right. Yeah, but why don't we have to have an international break every 3 weeks? Just play your qualifying matches. Get on with it. It's just ridiculous, man. Anyway,
you're very miserable.
Anyway, yeah, I am.
Anyway, thanks, mate. We're miserable.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Anytime.
It's been lovely. And Danny, it's always a pleasure, mate. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, always a pleasure to be on. A bit more of a different conversation this time round. It's about me being very unfit and trying to run for a train. But yeah, on to Thursday for the next one.
On to Thursday, thank you. And if you haven't already, get on to manscaped.com. Get your pre-Christmas needs for 20% off and free shipping using code NYT. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Credits on one-on-one. The credit fairly shoot. Can they go shot? Yes!
Chambers.